But a great performance from Toledo. He's our first quarter finalist. We're about to find out a second one here. Looking at this brand new matchup, we've got Caio Ibelli, former World Junior champ, taking on Matty Wilkinson from Copacabana, New South Wales, and also Adriano de Souza, the man that won a world title last year with 2 big wins on a crazy, radical day in professional surfing. He became the first Brazilian to take out that prestigious event.
Wow. You know, there's 3 things, like I said, the world title, the Triple Crown, and the Pipe Masters, and well, de Souza got 2 of those in one day. Let's have a look at his approach right now. Well, I'll tell you what, he just watched what his fellow countrymen did and knows exactly what it's going to take to win this event. He's got to absolutely surf out of his skin. Look at this guy. He doesn't give up, does he? Right behind the section, but never say die, de Souza. It's not going to be a huge score for him.
And also seeing de Souza paddle back out, looking over his shoulder, as we have a little bit of action in the lineup. Multiple waves set, and we'll give you all those replays here in round 4, heat number 2. De Souza with a 5.17. You see Ibelli with just a 1.5. And then Matty Wilkinson, he'll be the lone goofy foot in this lineup, but he doesn't mind that. He likes the contrast of his style against the regular footers on tour. As you see that big accolade, de Souza on top of the Jeep leaderboard. It feels like this yellow jersey is a bit more comfortable these days for de Souza.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's see Matty Wilco here. And his approach, well, we know exactly what he does. We know exactly what he likes to do. Gets nice and low off the bottom. Look how wide that stance is. And what that does is it just gives him such a good base to work off. Super solid. And we talk about how once he finds that groove, I mean, he just builds his confidence as he goes down the line, and that turn starts to get more and more vertical, more and more radical. Caio Ibelli, solid surfing from him so far today as well. Very similar to de Souza's approach, isn't it? I mean, this kid's been watching these guys and trying to emulate their performance, and that's the X factor that Caio Ibelli has. We haven't seen a lot of that so far in this event. Look forward to seeing more of that as this event goes down. They've got a lot of experience. You know, they've been traveling the world for quite a few years now, and they've been watching the big dogs do their thing. So,
well, great opportunity now to just feel some of that hot energy from Felipe Toledo.
Can't wait to get back in the water again.
And obviously in the off season, you know, it's easier said than done to win an event back to back, but it looks like you're just carrying that form all the way through. Are you gaining confidence as you move through the rounds?
Yeah, for sure. You know, once you keep going, you know, like with good scores and, you know, doing a really good heat, you know, the board feels amazing. So just building like confidence, you know, and having more fun in each heat.
All right, we'll go get some rest. Your work is done for the day. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you, Rosie Hodge. Felipe Toledo, a 10 and a 9.2, and you can feel his energy. He's in a happy place.
What he's got to fine-tune. You know, this is obviously a great little slingshot for the rest of the year. You know, coming in, you know, we've got 3 events back-to-back here in Australia, so Felipe is doing exactly what you got to do here. You know, he watched exactly what Adriano de Souza did.
Looks like we could be running out of daylight before we get into the other matchups of the round as we watch a roll-in from Caio Ibelli. Opening wrap, nice and solid. He's got a big wall that's moving down the line. Tail high reverse. Over the section. This Whitewater's going to kind of keep him behind for a while. He's fighting for some open face, and he knows he wants to ride out clean. But we're starting to get a little taste of that air game, Potts, that you're looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, you know, I love the fire that the Brazilians bring to the game. You know, these guys are just warriors. You know, they want it so bad. You know, that energy that we saw from Felipe just before. Let's have a look at Caio's wave here. Just draws off the bottom, nice solid base that he's got going right there, wraps it around, sets it up for this here. You can see how when he was pumping down the line, his foot then moved all the way back onto the pad, which gives him that green light just to launch, you know, and it just, you know exactly that once your foot pushes up against that arch, you've got something to push against, and that gives you that pop and that ability to just fly through the air. So
interesting to see how the whole air movement's evolved, to see how talented these guys are with their feet. Let's watch.
Now you can see that foot's already back on the pad. Now watch when he clicks with his lip here. Watch that front foot. See how that front foot slides way up to the nose, and that back foot as well. It almost comes off the pad. So it's gone from where that kick pad is to almost off the pad. So your whole body weight slides forward. Why? Because you want those fins to be free. You don't want to, if you're coming down backwards and your foot's on that pad, those fins are going to grab and you're going to wipe out.
Now de Souza looking to draw off the top, a huge carve. Total control right into a bottom turn and wraps it. What a clean line. And he's arcing on the inside corner now. The world champ. Quick little rebound, snaps off the lip and looking to finish. 1 foot section on the inside as it's trimmed in size, but he's packing with a lot of energy as he's kicking out, standing straight up, looking for a big number from the panel. He opened with a 5.17. Wilco still out in front with that high score of a 6.83, so de Souza's hoping for another 5-ranger to take the lead.
Yeah, he puffed his chest out a little bit there at the end of that. I love that. You know, that's a little bit of positive body language. You know, a little bit of come on, you've got this. You know, de Souza, that just, you know, relentless bottom turn, top turn combo. I think that's, you know, his way of approaching this wave. You know, his timing is absolutely perfect. He's super smooth. You can see him jamming down the line, just setting things up. Now he gets really low, and once he connects that first turn, he's back down off the bottom and into the next turn. It's that first maneuver that really does set him up for the rest of the wave. Very much similar to Matty Wilco in the sense of once he gets that first turn going, he then cranks it up, and every turn after that becomes more and more radical, a little bit more on the edge, and showing the judges a little bit of pizzazz.
Now Matt Wilkinson's turn, the goofy foot from Copacabana, looking for a big section. Knifes it off the top, squaring up, vertical, hammers it. Now he'll just do some setup work, filling in the gaps well. Wilco winds up, tags it, and now here comes the carve. A lot of variety down the line as you expect from Matty Wilkinson, and he'll fade out. His low score before that, a 3.43. He's been here a lot now. He's looking at his 7th start here on the Goldie. He's had 2 quarterfinals in the mix. He hasn't had the consistency of making those quarters out here, but he's definitely has some good memories to reflect on.
No, absolutely right. And I don't think he's finished yet. I mean, this kid's done a lot of hard work. We talk about his bottom turn, top turn combos. You know what? He's very similar to de Souza in the fact where he's got a real wide stance. You know, and what that does is just gives him that solid base. He's always got that back foot on the pad there. Very rarely moves it off. And once he sets his rail, it's like every turn from then on becomes more and more radical. Gets that board a little bit more vertical every time he comes off the bottom, showing some variety. This kid's got probably one of the best backhands on tour. Why? Because he's got that ability to mix it up.
Probably his smartest friend in the world. And so he got a tattoo dedicated to Ace, his smartest friend. It's an Ace of Hearts on his, I think it's on his leg. He got that back when he won the Coldwater Classic in Santa Cruz many years ago.
Where guys are going now in the barrel. I mean, a couple of years ago, Chopu, I don't think we ever thought guys would be doing that, you know. Now the air game as well. That's all changing too.
This is Caio driving hard through a real cool cruisy carve. Now he's got a lip to hit, springs up vertically, and he's got a lot of speed. He'll pull in, loves to get barreled. He'll come out of a messy section and now try to earn this bonus track. Looking to loft a punt. He'll lose connection of his board and goes down.
I always get nervous when you lose connection with your board because that thing can flip over and anything can happen. The amount of times I've hurt myself doing those kind of things, you kind of fall and going, oh no. It's a dangerous time there with those fins sticking up, but Caio not scared at all.
It was almost at this event, Potts, years ago when you got a wild card opportunity and you free surfed before and then you got injured over at D-Ball. Was that one of your worst injuries of your career?
It was actually at Burley. Let's have a look at Caio. Look at that beautiful rail turn from Caio Ibelli. You know, he's sneaky powerful, this kid. Maybe the wrong choice of moves right there. Not too many points going to be offered for that. And this is where he looks for that last maneuver. Flying down the line, you can see that foot goes back onto the pad and then decides not to use the grab. Maybe should have grabbed it, but Caio there not quite pulling that one off, so back to the drawing board.
Down to 13 minutes on the clock here in round 4, heat number 2. Wilkinson did get his lead back, 7-2-7 on his last. Has de Souza in second. Ibelli still chasing some scores to get out of that 3rd spot, but there's more waves on the way. De Souza, the world champ, left all alone, and he wants a piece of this thing. One of the bigger waves we've seen in this heat, and he's going to draw off the bottom. Vertical whip to start. He's got a lot of foam and a big section coming down, so he's got to kick out.
Yeah, you see that's classic snapper rocks right there, where the big one's not always the right one.
Feels like a few weeks ago now, because a lot of drama has unfolded on this legendary right-hander. The sand's been perfect. The surfing's been on fire. Now a world champ is up with Adriano de Souza, and he'll carve back to set up this inside track. Ton of speed as he draws off the bottom. Lights up the lip with a big carve. Now that little highline wrap to set up the inside corner. Just an easy tempo and pace. Just fills in the gaps on the inside corner, and he's stalling, looking to ramp up. He'll just spring into another hack off the top, vertically, throws the fins, he misses the grab, and he goes down.
Yeah, well, he's, I'll tell you what, he wants that quarterfinal berth, that's for sure. He doesn't want to take any chances with round number 5. It's one of those tricky rounds. If you lose, you get an equal 9th place, which, if you're going for another world title, that's not where you want to be. So De Souza is not going to give up. He's got 9.5 minutes to go. You can expect this guy to get at least a couple more waves. Let's have a look at his approach here, just straight off the bottom into it. Thrown the tail out, so thrown a little bit of caution to the wind there. Didn't quite ride out of it nice and clean, so I'm not sure whether the judges are going to enjoy that one, but look at the intensity that he brings. He's just not going to give up. He sees this wave driving down the line. De Souza planting that foot, throwing the board around, showing variety, showing that speed, power and flow that the judges want to see. He's looking for a massive score, an 8.10. I'm not sure whether this is going to go up into that range, but De Souza not going to give up on it, that's for sure. If he doesn't get it on this one, he's going to come swinging in the next one, that's for sure.
So now 8:50 remaining on the clock here.
Don't go your way, you work twice as hard, and this kid works harder than most, that's for sure. That's why he's a world champion. You know, I've always said hard work beats talent that doesn't work hard. And Adriano de Souza is one of those guys, man. If you look up hard work in the dictionary, there's a picture of Adriano de Souza.
Unbelievable performance last season. I'm talking to Jake Patterson, former pipe master, and he said sometimes his skill set was knowing that a surfer was better than him in a heat, but he'd figure out a way to beat him. Now is his favorite thing to do. This is Wilco. Big snap, a huge whitewater section, and he's going to pull off that fin ditch. He disappears. And now he's trying to lay low to seal it for the judges. Meanwhile, Caio getting a start in the distance. And Wilco, even though he recovered from a crazy re-entry, he's unable to capitalize on an inside corner.
You know, it's a fine line right there. You can see not happy with that. I think he was expecting the board to drive a little bit more, but those fins popped out and kind of lost a little bit of control. Even though he pulled that one off, in his mind, it was a messy maneuver. I remember seeing Seabass earlier in the day do that big layback snap and kind of lay down a little bit and then stood up and didn't really get a lot of points for it. So it's a fine line between doing something radical and then messing it up. So Caio Ibelli just behind there. I love that little bottom turn fade right there just to get him back into the power source. Straight up and down is what you want to do out here to get those big points. Racing down the line, this wave starting to grow, but Caio just missed timing that last maneuver.
Also Wilco on this last exchange.
Yeah, Wilco waiting for it. He's looking to improve on his situation. The 6.83, you can see right there, he needed that board to drive out of that maneuver so that he could then get around the section. What that did was it put him behind the 8 ball. Now he's playing catch up, and once you play catch up at Snapper Rocks, it's all over.
So that just left him behind. Wilco is trying to increase his 6.83, so his lead will stay the same at this point. De Souza chasing the 8.10, takes on John Florence and Stu Kennedy, the new Australian hero who's taken out some heavy names of the sport. Paddling in from behind the wedge is Caio. Speed float to come around the corner.
Wow.
He'll climb the next section. And now he's looking for something big. Whips that tail high, but he'll go down.
How did he get around that section? I mean, the speed this guy got. Just the body, creating all that by himself too. That was self-generated speed right there. That wave didn't really push him along that much until it grew, but he literally got that board moving really fast. And the equipment these days, Joe, is super light, aren't they? I mean, they don't last long. Most of these guys get boards made per event, and they literally dissolve in water.
It's so crazy. Remember Caio was telling us spots he had a Magic Xanadu that he's trying to hang on to.
Yeah.
He's making finals on the QS last year and basically dominated the whole season. And then he broke his magic board the other day, and he's been trying out a lot of different boards.
Yeah, look at him get going here. Look at how much speed he's generating, flying down the line there, pumping his board rail to rail. It's kind of like if you think about skateboarding, when you sort of wind that skateboard from rail to rail, you sort of build up the speed. Very similar thing with surfing. You get that board rail to rail. As soon as you start setting the rail,
He's getting closer to a quarterfinal berth, which would match his personal best result here at the season opener at the Quiksilver Pro Snapper Rocks. There's a little wave coming through, and we'll see if it's a comeback wave for De Souza. Hard off the bottom, recovers with a climb, needs an 810, and that wave's not going to do it.
well, that was the first glitch right there from De Souza in this heat. Threw away priority. He's needing an 8.10. Now, look at Matty Wilco, realizing what's happened. He's making a beeline. He's doing a De Souza on De Souza. Because that's normally what Adriano does. Once he finds himself in the lead with priority towards the end, what does he do? Hello, mate. I'm right next to you. And what that is, that's just a bit of defense right there, making sure that if a wave does come, Matty Wilco eliminates any kind of opportunity that De Souza may have.
This is Caio. He looks for something big, a huge tail high reverse, going for a full rotation just to seal the deal. He's going to stay in third in this matchup as we watch the countdown. Wilco still chasing De Souza. Guys used to come in and say they felt bad about sitting on their opponent with priority. Nowadays, it's something they've got to do to close out heats at this level. Matt Wilkinson going straight to the quarterfinals with a huge win. Took out Taj earlier today, and he's still on fire. That momentum is a real thing that he's carried from the QS at Newcastle.